we were not briefed really at all about the Palestine situation. The Jews were trying to pour into Palestine, and we were 6th Airborne Division, and it was 1st Infantry Division, and we were there to keep order, keep the Jews out of Palestine, and so on. So we were then confronted with a couple of freedom fighters to them, terrorists to us, and one of them was called the Stern Gang, and the other was called IZL, which is, I think, I didn't know quite what it was, Ergun Zwei Lumai. I didn't know what it was. It's not a terrorist organisation, probably. So unpleasant things happened. We had jeeps with no windscreens for airborne use, and 2 of our drivers were driving along the road at night and lost their heads about 200 yards back with cheese wire across the road. So from then on we had an upright metal spar on the bonnet. But I mean, that sort of thing happened, and there were bombings, there was a good deal of cloak and dagger on both sides.
Because the Jews really wanted us to leave, the British to leave?
Well, the Jews just wanted to get in. What was happening was they were arriving in tramp steamers, mostly rusty, from Europe, and they were trying to get in onto the beaches south of Haifa or so. The Navy were intercepting a lot of them and escorting them into Haifa harbour. We were going up detailed and getting them off these ships and putting them on lighters, which were going to take them across to Cyprus and Famagusta. Well, the contents of these ships were largely women. Most of the women were pregnant, because you got 2 Jews in for the price of 1. They were living stacked as though they were export bananas or something in these awful ships. They had no sanitation, which they improved on by pouring bucketfuls of ordure over us as we were trying to get up onto the ships, which wasn't exactly why I joined the army. But then they were put to Cyprus, in a concentration camp in Cyprus, I think. It didn't really stop them, because they were pouring in from every direction and forming these communes, agricultural communes. And, I don't know, we had a jerky life. We were known by, the Jews called us Bevin's butchers. And we tried to stop it, and we got involved in crowds in Tel Aviv, for instance, and you would hear a small, not me, but you might hear a small voice of some officer saying, "At the gentleman at the back of the crowd who's shouting oaths, there's 1 round to kill, fire." You see, and this sort of, you had this internal trouble, which you could only sort out by roughness, really. And it was a most unpleasant time.
But we used to shoot live rounds at troublemakers?
Yes, oh yes. Oh yes, to kill. But it was a very strange life, because one day you might be sent off with, I don't know, 200 of your regiment to maybe cordon off a village and search it through for weapons and explosives. Very much like Northern Ireland, only Middle Eastern. And it was really a very unpleasant time.